Last week I touched on the original Creature Commandos lineup, but today I'm going to go over the characters who are, actually in the show. Let's start with everyone's favorite weird dog, Weasel, whose original incarnation debuted as an enemy of... Wait, Firestorm? Firestorm, the nuclear man, the walking scientific alchemist, the guy who rearranges the foundational building blocks of reality as we know it, fought Weasel. Yeah, okay. Weirder shit's happened. Maybe he's got some kind of super weasel powers or something that lets it... What do you mean he's just a guy? I'm not making this up. Believe it or not, the very first Weasel, John Monroe, was just a serial killer who dressed up like a giant anthropomorphic mustelid for attention. After being captured by Firestorm, he was recruited into the Suicide Squad, where he was ultimately killed by Rick Flag, who was possessed by the Thinker's helmet. And then he came back as a zombie a couple of times, none of which stuck. The New 52 rebooted him as an actual humanoid Weasel with superpowers, but he's seen just about as much page time as the old Weasel did. So, not much. There's also the Bride, who... y'all know Frankenstein, right? I don't need to turn this show into poorly explained books without pictures. Cool. Anyways, DC's iteration of the Bride works for SHADE, a shadowy government ops type organization. Also, she has 2 extra arms, so that's neat. Our next member of the team is, I think, the most recent. Nina Mazursky first debuted in the alternate Flashpoint timeline. I'm not getting into that again, check out this episode if you want more. As the adopted daughter of Professor Myron Mazursky and member of that timeline's Creature Commandos. Once everything was set, quote-unquote, right with the universe, the New 52's Nina Mazursky was something of a scientist herself, having created the first generation of Creature Commandos. Which went horribly wrong when they all went nuts. She then included herself in the second set of test subjects, turning herself into a creature from the Black Lagoon mermaid type thing. And then we have my current favorite of the show, Dr. Phosphorus. He's a Batman villain. Just not really the most notable one. Although, to be fair, Batman has a lot of villains. Come to think of it, was he in Lego Batman? Yes. Okay, cool. Anyways, Dr. Alexander Sartorius wanted to build a nuclear plant in Gotham City, but the people said no, so he had to have it constructed out at sea. So when the inevitable superpower-granting meltdown occurred, he naturally blamed Gotham and decided to... Holy shit! Poison the water supply! I thought that was just a bit! Anyways, he's not only fought Batman, but also Batgirl, Man-Bat, and Ragman and Wildcat. The New 52 turned him into the ruler of a subterranean city underneath Arkham Asylum, and a more generally benevolent figure, but the death of his daughter Princess Tinderbox, my Are You Serious meter for this episode is off the fucking charts, let me tell you what, did a real number on him, and as of now, he appears to be back to his regular villainous self. If I have one big takeaway from this episode, it's that doing multiple DC characters in one episode gets exhausting. What with all the reboots and crises and flashpoints and whatnots. I think next week I'll scale it back a bit and circle around to our apparent villain of the piece, Circe.